Welcome, movie fans. Thanks for joining us for episode 147 of Reading Between the Reels, the premier podcast of finding real-world lessons in fictional conflicts. If you're a new listener, we're so glad you found us. If you've been enjoying the show, please like, follow, and subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can also support the show by posting on your socials and by joining our Facebook group. I'm Craig Dickinson, and today on the show, we're bringing you the second in our series of Star Wars conversations with my English classes, and this one features Din from F-105.
Hi.
What would happen if Luke joined Vader?
If Luke joined Vader, they would rule the galaxy and take on the Klingon Empire for intergalactic domination.
Why is redemption important in Vader's story?
Oh, because that goes down to what I think is the heart of existence, that we live in a galaxy of creation and destruction, which is dark and light. So no one is perfect, and everyone will have to be redeemed in some point, in some level in their life, I think. To greater and lesser degrees. If we expected everyone to be perfect, then that wouldn't happen. Redemption, and allowing people to be redeemed is the only hope humanity has.
How does Luke change from the beginning to the end?
You mean including Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's actually it goes into, if you ever get a chance at some point, read The Hero with 1,000 Faces, the book on mythology that George wrote Star Wars to.
Mhm.
And the Freud focused on the young person's journey from like infant to adulthood. And that one is mostly about having ideals and setting out to achieve them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jung focused on the hero's journey from adulthood to death. And that one is about figuring out how to lead your life to leave in balance. It's not about changing the outer world. It's about changing the inner. So the first half of the life is about changing the outer world and going out and doing your thing. And then the second half is about changing your inner world. And I think the ending of Last Jedi shows that pretty perfectly.
Okay. Why doesn't Yoda want to train Luke at first?
Well, I think he's after having watched the prequel on the Clone Wars, it starts to seem like it's not only his maybe his worry that Luke will be emotionally out of balance like his father, but also maybe because he failed in training both Dooku and then by extension Anakin as well. So maybe he has a little bit of lack of trust in himself as well, not just Luke.
Why does Luke think there's still good in Vader?
Well, I think there's always a special bond between children and their parents of understanding that no one else can really see, and there always is a little bit of light left in every person, no matter how bad they are, just because they're simply a child of the Force, which is both light and dark. So there's always hope.
How would the story be different from the Empire's point of view?
Well, from the empires of the, yeah, I think George Lucas said, no one does anything wrong given no one thinks they're doing anything wrong, especially when it comes to that kind of level of maybe politics and leadership, world leadership, intergalactic leadership, national. I think no one does anything wrong given their belief system. So I think a lot of true believers in the empire think that having more control and giving people less freedom will actually create a more peaceful universe for everyone.
What lessons from these movies still matter today?
That no matter how dark anything seems in your life on a personal level or on a big level with the world, there's always hope to make it a little lighter.
What's the most important message of the trilogy?
Oh, I think what I just said, yeah. There's always, no matter, yeah, I'll repeat that. No matter how dark things are on a personal level or planetary or galactic level, there's always hope for it to become more light.
Okay.
How is hope shown in the movies?
Oh, did you ask that question based on what I just said? Hope is shown in the movies that the second most dark evil person in the world has some bit of light in them personally, and it just took the connection with his son to bring it out. And also that no matter how extremely dark things get on a political level with who's in control, like Emperor Palpatine, that there's always hope that a small group of people can change the world, because that's the only thing that ever has. That's I think a Margaret Mead quote. Margaret Mead? Am I right?
Why does Vader save Luke at the end?
Yeah, cool. I was thinking about this weekend because I was thinking about how George Lucas added him saying no. That when he saves Luke, do you remember how he says no? In the original version, it was just silent. And I always read it as Luke was saying yes to his son, which I think is the biggest thing that's going on. Is his heart has been activated by his son, so he moves on his heart to save his son. But I think by putting the no in there, there's an element now of rebellion against Palpatine in that no. Sorry, what was the question again?
Why does Vader save Luke at the end?
Yeah, so I think it's the why is mainly that Luke activates his heart, which he thought was dead. But I think there's a little bit of like, for himself, a little bit of saying no to Palpatine, which he'd never been able to do.
Is it more about destiny or choice?
Well, that's an interesting paradox, because if scientists are right that there's no such thing as time, then what's going to happen has already happened. But you still have a choice to change what already happened. So you got to get your mind around two truths can exist at once. I think that might be a lot, but I think kids are smarter than maybe adults on that stuff.
Were Obi-Wan and Yoda right to hide the truth about Vader?
That's a good question. I think maybe because I think like Luke and Leia's mind would have to be sort of a maturity level to be able to handle that. But I'm not sure. That's a good question. Can't give you a definitive answer.
Okay.
What does Luke's final choice say about him?
You mean on Crate or in Return of the Jedi? In Last Jedi or Return of the Jedi?
General.
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
What's his last choice?
Yeah.
No, but what is his last choice?
Um,
That he threw down his lightsaber?
yeah.
Okay, so then he realizes that love is more powerful than violence.
Why is the Vader reveal such a big deal?
Oh, in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
I like what Joseph Campbell once said. It's that um, in all sort of machines that become inhuman, there was a human behind their creation. A human behind, and then he said Joseph Campbell found it interesting that it was sort of like the bureaucratic human that gets older and is part of the corrupt political system or the corporate system that just doesn't care about people anymore and has become like a bureaucrat inside the machine that doesn't care
Mhm.
about people. Yeah.
How does family affect the story?
What does? What's that?
How does family affect the story?
Family?
Yeah, how does it affect the story?
Oh, well, that's it. That would take 11 movies to explain. I'm stumped. I just think that in my opinion, Star Wars is about the quote. Like, there's a famous Carrie Fisher who played Princess Leia quote that says it's about family, and that's why it's so powerful. But I think the idea of Star Wars is not just the people that you were raised with or your family, but that the whole community of everyone in the galaxy is one, also one family.
What does the Force really represent?
What does
What
repeat?
does the Force really represent?
What does the Force really represent? Oh,
Mhm.
good. A seeker. Um, well, you're going to have to find out that for yourself, but I will say, I will quote Han Solo to say, it's real. The Force, the Jedi, all of
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
Um,
How does fear affect characters' choices?
Well, I think if uh, if you were to look at any moment of any given day of anything you're doing, you realize that your actions come from two places, either love or fear. So how does it affect? I think we wouldn't be able to grow without having the choice between the two. So fear is an opportunity to choose courage. Hate is an opportunity to choose love.
How is hope shown in the movies?
Um, oh, good. I get to repeat a third time. That someone as bad as second most evil person in the galaxy, next to Palpatine. That just because they're a part of creation, which is both light and dark. Love always exists somewhere inside of everything. So on a whether it's a personal level or the whole big family of the galactic organization of the entire political apparatus of the galaxy and how it takes care of people, whether it does or not. There's always hope that it can take care of people more out of love. Yeah. I'll just add that on, whether personal or galactic, because of if you're, there's always hope to act out of love, and only out of that can personal and systematic things really change for the better.
Why is Obi-Wan willing to sacrifice himself?
Well, I would think that based on what we've clearly seen in the prequels and the Clone Wars, is that he truly knows that there's life after death. And I think once he knows that, it makes it much easier for him to sacrifice himself out of love because he knows it's not the end.
So as we close, we just want to say thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Email us at readingbetweenreels@gmail.com or use the SpeakPipe app on our website. If you enjoyed the show, please like, follow, subscribe, and be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. One last thing, our next episode continues our Star Wars 101 series with special guest Ian Desher, the New York Times best-selling author of the William Shakespeare's Star Wars series.